Pete, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Yay!
So we're going to do something that we wanted to do for a while.
What's that?
Fuck on this table.
No, it's relatively recent for me.
We wanted to do an episode where we talked about one of our favorite actors and his great horror performances.
Bruce Campbell.
We could do that one of these years because we're going to turn this into an annual thing.
Ooh.
We actually did do a Bruce Campbell when we did all the Evil Dead movies. I don't know if we can find 3 other horror movies we'd want to do.
Oh, Bruce Campbell's in everything good. I just saw him on something. He's got a game show now, too. I guess it was a long time ago, but it's new to me.
There's your Bruce Campbell news.
Yep, that's my Bruce Campbell update.
So I think that we'll do is, because last Thanksgiving we covered Thanksgiving.
Yes, that makes sense. That's logical. I'm with you.
Since Thanksgiving 2's not out, we were up Schitt's Creek on this one.
That is tough. Isn't there one about a killer turkey?
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
I've never seen that one.
Me neither. That makes it harder to do. And there's Blood Rage, but I was like, then we're completely out, so we're just going to leave that in the past, even though I love it. What we're going to do is every Thanksgiving, we'll pick an actor or actress, and we'll do this kind of a podcast episode where we'll give thanks for their awesome horror performances. So
okay.
This first one is the one you wanted to do for a while.
I'm going back to Bruce Campbell again here.
Sam Neill.
Ooh, I do like Sam Neill. I don't know why I'm surprised. I watched all the movies.
I was going to say. I got nervous again.
No, I watched all of them. Here's the problem. I watched them a month ago. Mm-hmm. And if you recall, after the 3 movies we watched were, oh shit, Jurassic Park's not one of them.
No, because I'm sure we'll do something with Jurassic Park on its own one day.
Oh, it was in the Mouth of Madness.
1994 is In the Mouth of Madness.
Solid. We watched Event Horizon.
1998.
Event Horizon? 98 or 99? Probably 97.
Could have been any of those. And?
Possession.
1981's Possession.
1981's. I had never seen it before, and I wanted to watch it twice. That's why I didn't watch Godzilla when you tried to make me watch that horrible Godzilla in 98. I never did watch Possession twice. No, I don't remember. I don't remember these movies so well anymore because I watched them a month ago.
Well, that's not good.
I got notes. I brought my notes.
All right. Well, I have notes too. For example, did you know that Sam Neill was born in New Zealand on September 14th, 1947?
I did not know that.
Did you know that he's a vintner?
He's a Kiwi. What's a vintner?
He owns 2 Paddocks Winery. It means he owns a vineyard.
Isn't that a vintner?
Vintner.
I don't know. I'm looking at you.
It's got an N before and after the T, so it's vintner.
Interesting.
Yes. I can't. You read a lot more than me, but you don't mean you read it correctly.
That's true. I once said trapezing when I meant traipsing. Because I only ever read it before.
I think trapezing kind of works. It depends how you're doing it.
Yeah, how fanciful you want to traipse.
Are you strolling or are you like doing some Cirque du Soleil shit while you're doing it?
All right, I get you. I dig it. I like it.
We're going to make that an official word. We have that power. He made his film debut in 1975's Landfall.
What was that about?
I don't know.
Alrighty.
His breakout roles in 1977's Sleeping Dogs.
What's that about?
I don't know. His first horror role was in 1981's Omen 3, The Final Conflict.
I bet you that one's about a conflict of some sort.
The final one. And then just a few months later, he would star in a movie we will discuss today called Possession.
That was the one I had not seen.
No.
All right, so how do you want to approach this?
I want to do it backwards.
What's backwards?
From the newest to the oldest.
From the newest to the oldest, but that's not the order I saw that. I saw them in...
The hallway?
Yeah.
I saw her in the hallway.
It's back. It's back.
Back again.
He would go on to star in movies like Dead Calm, which is a thriller we could have probably covered.
Okay.
The Hunt for Red October,
yeah.
The Piano, and Jurassic Park, which again, I'm sure we'll do watch-alongs to or episodes on the series at some point.
So he's got a pretty solid grouping of horror films.
Yep. He made... I never saw Omen 3. I did see Dead Calm, but I'm not sure that's really a horror movie.
I don't remember it. I was a kid.
Yeah. And, obviously Jurassic Park has horror elements, and it's the big one. Mm-hmm. And that's why I just thought...
It's a monster movie.
Yeah, why put it in here when I'm sure we'll get to it. But I would start with Event Horizon, then do In the Mouth of Madness, and then go back to Possession, because I had seen Possession before, and I love it. and I've constantly think about it. And one of the reasons I was going to say trepidatious and try to turn it into trapezing, and I couldn't do it. I was a little trepidatious about doing it in this format because I think it's far more interesting to discuss than the other two.
I would agree. The other two are solid horror films.
Yes, they're not movies that are fucking weird.
Yeah, they're not ones you really need to think too hard about, like puzzling what you just watched. But
I think there's
fun.
a little of that in the mouth of Madness. In the mouth of Madness. In the so it's
Yeah,
called.
in the mouth of because I'm thinking of At the Mountains of Madness.
I know. Well, that's what it's taken from.
Yeah, and that's Lovecraft inspired.
Well, we're gonna do that one second. Let's get to Event Horizon because I think
right.
there's clearly the least to say about Event Horizon.
What are you talking about? Guy in space?
Yep, there
Dead
you go.
bodies.
Now we'll move on to Mouth
Doom
of
the
Madness.
video game part 1. No, Doom came first. Which came first, the Doom or the movie?
The video game Doom came before this.
I don't know about that.
But this is not anything like Doom the video game.
Sure
where
it
you
is.
Run around as a space marine shooting alien creatures.
Starring The Rock.
That is a bad movie starring Carl Urban.
Carl
that The Rock
Urban's-
was also in.
Carl Urban is in everything. I mean, sci-fi, fantasy. He's
I
got
was
a
going to
lot
say,
of...
he's not in any of these movies we're doing.
No, I guess he doesn't have horror. He's just got sci-fi and fantasy cred.
In Dread.
Oh, Dread solid. That's
Great
sci-fi,
movie.
right?
Everything can't be solid.
Yeah, it is. You know what's not solid? Megan. It's terrible. So not everything is
Terrible.
solid.
I'm looking forward to that watch along next year.
Oh yeah, it's it's a watch along. I have to actually sit there and it'll be on. God damn, that sucks. I could have pulled a Godzilla '98.
Nope. It was directed by Mr. Mila Jovovich, Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yep, that was cool.
It was released in 1997. I guess I had that note. It was a box office bomb, which is weird because I remember everybody talking about it.
I saw it at the box office.
It was also a critical flop, but it gained a cult following.
All right, I get it. It was fun. I think the actors were good. I think the script.
Speaking of the actors, it stars Lawrence Fishburne,
Yep.
Kathleen Quinlan, Jolie Richardson, Sean Pertwee, who is the son of the third Doctor, and he starred in Dog Soldiers.
Oh yeah. I knew that name.
And Richard T. Jones, he was in Terminator: Sarah Connor Chronicles. He was the cop looking into it, and I liked that show, and I liked his character.
I never watched it.
I never really saw him in anything else. So when he popped up watching this again for the first time since 1997, I was like, "Oh shit, it's that guy!"
Okay.
It's a good show.
Yes. So it was a cast that was solid, very solid, so solid. And what was the story?
Well, I can get to that too.
Yeah, tell me the story. Tell me a story, Brian, about this movie.
The opening text tells us that the first permanent colony was established on the moon in 2015. False.
No, I've seen it. My brother's convinced me, Brian. There's aliens who live in the ocean, and there's colonies on the moon. I don't remember when they put them there, but they've been there a while.
The aliens live in our ocean,
Yes.
but they're still aliens.
Yes.
Okay. 2040, the Event Horizon disappears beyond Neptune. It's a big ship architected by one Sam Neill. In 2047, the movie begins, and the Event Horizon has reappeared. He plays Dr. Billy Weir, and the movie begins from his perspective, which is strange because most of the movie is not from his perspective.
There is that point, yeah. I didn't think about it.
No, it's not. It's not a negative. It's just one of those things where it's like you spend the opening moments with him, and then he just is a background character for most of the movie. He's an important character, but it's really more the Lawrence Fishburne.
Right, you're following
Lead,
the
I feel
Space
like.
Marines or
Yeah.
whatever they are.
They're on the ship Lewis and Clark, and the captain is Lawrence Fishburne, Captain Miller.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, I'm just taking in the names that you're telling
and
me.
they got to go and check out the ship, and they bring Sam Neill with them, and they find out that it has all kinds of advanced technology, and where it disappeared to apparently was hell.
Yeah, but when they get aboard the ship, there's bodies
Yes,
and
they're getting
all sorts of oddities.
Haunted by their deepest fears and memories and regrets.
And then it turns out that Sam Neill's the bad guy. Why was he the bad guy? Because his wife killed herself, and then he was sad about it.
So let me tell you the problem with Event Horizon.
All right, what's the problem with Event Horizon?
It's one of those movies, and I did enjoy it, even rewatching it, even for all the problems that it has. I think it looks pretty good, honestly.
It's a pure '90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's loud.
Mwah.
It's loud and it's annoying and a lot of times. But I still kind of liked it. And the problem is that it comes from the place where, and this is why I liked it, because I like the Resident Evil movies that this guy made too, but they all come from the same place. Does it have to narratively hold together? Or is it just cool if he says, I am home, and disappears into the darkness? There's no good build to that moment, but that moment is great. And then he gets to be the bad guy. Does it make any sense? No, of course not.
No.
Doesn't narratively hold up at all. But it was cool. And Lawrence Fishburne's a good hero, so you got good things against each other.
Right. And the supporting cast is really fun.
There's a lot of sci-fi gobbledygook talk about gravity drives and just stuff. Who could possibly care? What's cool is a sentient ship returned from hell. That's cool.
Well, it wasn't sentient until it went to hell. It was a normal ship.
That's cool. And, you know, they created a black hole in the core to travel to any space and time. That's cool. Do I understand any of it? No, I don't need to.
You don't need to.
Don't spend as much time explaining it as you did, because I'm never going to care.
You don't need to know where bad guys come from all the time. You can just have a monster.
It's basically they're going to walk around a ghost ship. Cool.
But the ghost ship's alive, so...
He puts too much emphasis
fun.
on the sci-fi aspects when all you needed to explain to me was the ship came back from hell and now there's ghost stuff. Okay, cool.
I like the sci-fi. It makes it fun. I'm trying to think of another movie that is sci-fi horror, not Alien, but...
And it's actually funny you bring that up, because the Lewis and Clark looks a lot like Alien.
Does it? Oh, yeah, it does.
And then they get
Son
to
of a bitch.
they get to the grander ship, and it's 10 times worse because it's not as cool aesthetically. It's just ripping off Alien.
I like that big long tunnel thing that connects the...
It's fine, but it just doesn't hold up. Some of the visuals they look fine, but that aesthetic is so 1997.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's absolute late 90s.
And when they're on the Lewis and Clark, I'm like, that's timeless, because this looks like they're just doing the Nostromo, and it's cool because it still looks great.
Yeah, because that works. You get the idea of a cramped ship.
And it immediately gives you the understanding of how this crew would be together, because they're using shorthand of somebody else's work. But I totally understand this crew would be close-knit and good at their jobs, and they're ragtag survivors. Like, I get it. And then they get to the big ship, and it's like, it's not as visually interesting to me, which is funny because the entire purpose of it is to be more visually interesting.
That is all true, but you still have a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, because the movie doesn't hold together at all.
No, that's a fair point.
It's cool thing after cool thing after cool thing, which is why the movie's kind of cool. But as a story, nah.
It is one of those ones I would probably have on in the background if I did not have children, or if I was flipping channels back when people would flip channels. I would leave it on. Just, hey, I know this movie and it's fun. It's fun enough. But I agree with you on the not making sense.
Yeah, it's not the strong suit of the Resident Evil movies either.
No.
But I enjoy the Resident Evil movies because in lieu of narrative flow, he finds something cool to do and does it. It's exactly what this is, which, because you have really good actors like Sam Neill and Lawrence Fishburne, you're getting away with a lot of it.
And I like the concept of a black hole. Like, fun. It's all fun stuff, so it works.
If you told me that a movie was coming out tomorrow where a sentient ship returned from hell and then they were walking through basically a ghost house, I'd be like, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard, forgetting that I've seen it already.
Yeah, but then they'd be ruining the twist. It'd be like an M. Night trailer spoiler.
I don't think it ruins the twist, because it's not really a twist. You know something's evil on that ship.
But it's fun to find out it's the ship.
I guess that he's the bad guy because he was crazy before they went to the ship, because he was seeing the things before he got on the ship anyway.
Yeah, well, he built the drive, so maybe he somehow...
Yeah, that's what I mean. So, like, he's been exposed to it from the beginning, and it's already been inside of him before they got there. I'm trying to give it things that aren't really there.
You're doing a really good job.
Either that he's more susceptible to it because he was already plagued by this before. Mm-hmm. So, like, I like the idea of that. The movie doesn't earn it, but I like the idea of him, like, oh, yeah, we have to get back to the ship because he needs to get there for a different reason, because he can see his wife again. But that's not what the movie's doing. Like, it's like a happenstance thing you can draw from it if you wish to.
I will say that I have not seen this movie since it came out.
Me neither.
So
I was surprised at some things that held up better than I thought they would, and I was surprised at some things that didn't. Like, I remember thinking that ship was super cool, and then they get to the ship, and I'm like, it's just so not interesting to me. It's like being in a hospital hallway for most of it. It just doesn't. It's too sterile, too bright, and it's not as interesting.
That's funny. I don't even remember any of that. Like I just remember thinking it's cool. I remember the outside of the ship when they're
Yeah.
the miniatures are flying around.
They do some cool stuff. It's not a bad movie. I like the movie. I mean, it might be a bad movie, but I like the movie.
I'm not going to watch it again to see if you're right about the sterile hospital-like setting, because you probably are. But
It's, you know what it is? It's sharp angles and things that that's not better design. I get what you're going for, but the Nostromo looked cool. The Lewis and Clark looked fucking cool with that captain's chair that could hang from the top and you could spin around it. It was cool. Everything about it. They're just on the Nostromo though. They're literally going to their life pods.
yeah, that's true.
But I like that.
All right.
So I
All
got no complaints
Well,
about
I got a credit check for it because,
Okay.
of course, I do. Which one is this? Let me find my sheet of notes. Event Horizon. The End. Oh, it says The End at the end. I haven't seen that in a while. That was pretty fun. And then it started. What do we get? There's not really much happening. No Best Boy again. Never a Best Boy these days. They did have a drapes master. Ooh, his name was Colin Fox. So good job, Colin Fox.
How many people do you think you had to kill to get that title?
I don't know, but he's the drape master.
Yeah. There could be only one.
That's the way I heard it. What else? And then we have the special things. Oh, the Prodigy was on all over that final song and the music, I guess, for it. If you remember the 90s. They were the fire starter.
Yeah.
The twisted fire starter. What do we got? Okay, the special things. We've got the Hobart Manufacturing Company Limited. They were suppliers of commercial catering equipment. We have Vickers Medical. They were suppliers of medical lights. And then we have Omega Watches. And that is it. I don't know what Omega Watches did. I was given a very specific set of what these other people delivered to get their things.
Well, they only do one thing.
What?
They have watches.
Doesn't say they supplied them.
Maybe they're just trying to get free swag.
Maybe, I don't know, but that's a little mystery I discovered, and I haven't found the answer. So I don't know. We haven't solved a mystery in a while. So
I'd like to ask you what you've tried to do to solve this.
I thought about it, and I noticed that it was not the same as the other ones.
All right.
That's what I've done so far.
It's a fun movie that you can't think about too hard because it's just going to take you to another cool scene. So let's just have fun with the cool scene.
Yeah, I've never thought about that movie too hard.
No.
I haven't thought about
They
most
didn't either.
movies too hard.
But I that moment where Lawrence Fishburne's like, we have to get home, and he just goes, I am home. It's the coolest fucking Sam Neill moment in that movie, and I've thought about that since '97 because it's just like it's so good. And then when I watched it again now, I was like, oh, they didn't build up to this well at all. But I still was like, yeah, Sam Neill.
Yep, it was Sam Neill. That's
Yep.
why we're doing this episode.
Yep.
Thank you, Sam Neill.
Thank you, Sam Neill. Give thanks to Sam Neill.
All right, now what are we at?
Well, Pete, let me ask you a question. Do you read Sutter Kane? Or as they say in the movie, do you read Sutter Kane? Because they all talk like they're an ADR. When they're the possessed, all talk with ADR. When his publicist, it was his publicist, right? Or his editor, that was the person that attacks at the beginning. He looks just like a normal guy, and then when he talks, that's how he sounds. Do you read Sutter Kane?
I don't remember that.
It's hilarious.
Okay. No, I don't. You made me think for a minute because I was like, uh-oh, I got to sound smart. So do I say yes automatically? But then I thought you were asking me for a reason. So I had to think hard for a second. And I figured it out.
In the Mouth of Madness, a John Carpenter joint, what I argue is the last good John Carpenter film.
What did he do? Oh, Ghosts of Mars.
Well, you're going to tell me that Escape from LA is good, and I'm going to tell you that it's not.
Dude, that stars Bruce Campbell.
I'm going to tell you that it's not good. But I think it's the last good John Carpenter movie. I would even go so far as to say it might be the last. I can't know if I can go to great, but there are so many things in this movie that are fucking great.
It is a weird one.
It's weird because it doesn't, it's not to the extent of Event Horizon, but it doesn't quite hold together. But fuck, it's cool from beginning to end. I don't know that it's always focused on the right idea, but everything it does is fucking cool. I enjoyed the shit out of this movie again.
It's not like it's a complicated story.
No.
But it's just hard to.
I don't know how to put it. Yeah, I can't tell you what the flaw I think is with the movie because I really love it and I enjoy it. So maybe there just isn't one. It just feels like there is. No, it feels like there's something.
There's something missing, but everything is great. Every goddamn the monsters,
everything is great.
The demons,
everything
whatever. Yeah, the outside. They're outsiders because this is a heavily in H.P. Lovecraft. Fuck his racist soul, but it's very heavily influenced by Lovecraft.
It is, but it's taking Lovecraft by way of Stephen King, because the writing, the work is pure Lovecraft. The character is the success and fame and everything else of a Stephen King.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a northeastern town, it's
Well,
which I guess they both were,
yeah.
but the town they go to is less Lovecraft and more King.
I don't know. I kind of bought. It
No.
could be both. A lot of the King stuff is Lovecraft stuff too.
Part of this is because of the time, because he's not right. Lovecraft wasn't writing about modern times. He's not writing about 1994. So watching them walk around the northeastern city in 1994, it feels more like a King story. Because it's not the technology. Everything about it is more modern than anything Lovecraft could have written. Lovecraft's, to me, those towns, Innsmouth and stuff, they had a distinct
Era.
fishery smell to it.
Yep.
That this does not have. This is Castle Rock to me more than it is. But the actual story is pure Lovecraft. It's just funny that they gave the Lovecraft story to a king-like figure.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, Martin Luther King-like figure.
Yeah. Right. No. There were.
He had a dream.
There were role-playing games based in Lovecraft, Call of Cthulhu, and you could play them in different eras depending on how you wanted. So I guess I was a little more used to it in different settings.
I mean, the Sutter Kane, just even the sound of it. Sutter Kane, Stephen King.
Yeah. You're right. I'm not disputing that.
And Lovecraft was never a best-selling author as he was alive.
No.
And this is the most famous writer in the world. And it's the idea is great. Somebody whose fiction is making people lose their minds.
Well, yeah, it's like the books making you mad, like the Necronomicon would.
But also, everyone might be a character in one of the books.
Yep, that's fun.
Which is, it's got that kind of fun throughout the whole thing. It's also got some of the creepiest imagery.
Mm-hmm. Well, so the story was, because it was a month ago, it was this guy, Sam Neill, our hero.
Sam Neill plays John Trent, an insurance investigator tasked with finding the missing Sutter Kane.
And he's a fraud expert. I mean, he catches he knows all the tricks. He's a smart guy.
Yes. And he finds him in Hobbs End, his fictional town that they somehow get transported to while driving down the road.
Him and an assistant editor or something.
Publicist, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Because he thinks it's a publicity stunt. And he later finds out, when I like this in the movie, because this is a sign of a good script, she's like, it was a publicity stunt, but this wasn't it. And I like that it lets his character be smart while also being wrong. Because he sees right through it from the beginning, and then shit goes sideways.
Crazy sideways. Fourth wall bending, all wall bending.
It throws everything at it, and I think that Carpenter does it perfectly. Because it has this feel to it from beginning to end of nothing's ever quite right. And then when you get to the part where it's like, he could be a character in the story, it's like, it feels exactly like it should.
It's the very beginning sets you up in an insane asylum.
With John Glover.
Yo, that's right. Gremlins 2's John Glover. Yep, he was great.
One of the doctors. And the psychiatrist that comes to talk to him is Jack Warner, who was the body man in Titanic for Billy Zane, and he was Sidney's drama teacher in Scream 2, and he was Jack the Ripper in Time After Time.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot of things.
And he was originally going to be Freddy Krueger. They wanted an actor they knew, and I could see that working, but then Robert Englund came in with his energy and posture, and they were like, oh, this is the guy. And clearly, they got it right. Charlton Heston is in this movie.
Who was he?
Who's Charlton
Oh,
Heston?
yeah, right. Yeah, no, who was he?
Oh, he owns the
company.
Yeah, Linda Stiles is his editor. And I've never seen that actress in anything else, and she's really good in this movie, and I can't figure out why I never saw her in anything else. She's creepy as fuck when it's time to be creepy as fuck.
Yeah, so you know right away that this whatever happens, it's going to end with Sam Neill getting put into some sort of asylum.
Yes, because that's where the movie begins.
Yep, so you know everything's going on to end poorly.
Pure Lovecraft story. It's about the old ones returning and insanity and what's real, and that's all Lovecraft stuff. And it's why it's so funny to me they went so far into the Stephen King realm of telling it like they just were like mix the two, and there's not like a third mix. It's like they just took parts of each.
It's fine, everything's fine, but
it's familiar.
I'm bothered by why this movie, because this is another one I haven't seen since I saw it after the theater. But
yeah, I did too.
I think I haven't seen it in 20 years.
Oh wow, I've seen it much more recently than I saw it last year.
Oh really?
Really? Or maybe this year. It was like 30th anniversary.
All right, so how did it hold up 3 times?
I think it's great.
All right,
cool. I think I liked it better this last time. There's a poster at one point, which is the cover of Hobbs End Horror, his last novel, and it says on the bottom of it, I was looking at this poster and Sam was looking at the wall. It says, and the quote is, "If this book doesn't scare you, you're already dead," which seemed very familiar. So I typed it into the old Google machine, and that was the tagline, basically the exact tagline from Phantasm in 1979, which was, "If this one doesn't scare you, you're already dead." They just unabashedly ripped off the tagline for Phantasm.
I'm more impressed. See, Brian, this is why I brought you into that Omega Watches mystery.
Yeah.
Because you figure it out. You see something and you figure it out. So.
I see something, and I say something. and I never forget.
As you were taught.
Will never forgive.
As we were all taught by that noble animal, the wildebeest.
Now, you do credit checks, so I'm sure you already know this.
I do.
Okay, go ahead and tell me.
Hayden
Yes.
Christensen was the paper boy in this one.
First role.
I didn't. Oh, that was his first role?
Yep.
Wow, good for him. I really saw that Anakin Skywalker energy back there.
Didn't look at all the same, even though it was only a few years before 94 to 99, not 94 to 2001.
I don't know how old he is, so maybe that was an important time
I know
in his life.
it was because I was like, he's unrecognizable to me.
Yeah, it was tough. But yeah, that was him. What else? Since we're there, we're going to hit the credit check.
Well, I have another one for you.
Oh, yeah? What
Did
else
you
got?
know that the guy that kills himself because it's written that way when they're in Hobbs End was played by the the Carpathian actor?
Oh, shit.
I couldn't figure out where I recognized him from.
Yep.
And then I looked it up and it was Vigo the Carpathian.
I assumed that he was just the head villager, in a lot of these, like,
But the actor,
horror
I was
movies.
like,
Yep.
where do I know this guy from? And it's Vigo the Carpathian.
God damn, that was him. Interesting. Thank you. See, mystery solving, Brian.
Another crime, another case solved by the case solvers.
What else? There was another thing. Something bothers me about this movie. And I don't know. I think I remember telling you because I forgot about it until I saw it again. And it's a problem I have with a lot of horror movies. When your love interest has clearly turned bad and then shows up again later when you're trying to get away, don't stop. Don't do anything. It's clearly bad.
I think it's okay this time.
Why? Because it's written that way?
Well, that's the easy answer. But even to take it out of that narrative part, because it's not about her being the love interest at that point. It's about him trying to solve something, and she might have information that he could use. He's still first and foremost the person investigating this.
I think he was trying to get the fuck out of Dodge.
But anything that could help him figure this out was important to him, and I think it's okay that time.
I guess I got to watch it again now. God damn it! All
Yeah,
right,
I
actually,
think
I don't
it's
mind
good.
that movie.
I think it's good.
I'll watch it in like 5 years instead of 20. See
you
that? I upped it by like half.
That's the only thing that bothers you about the movie?
Yeah, pretty much. It
Me
bothered
too.
me.
I loved it. At least.
It's weird that the things that bother me the first time I see a movie still bother me 20-something years later.
Yeah,
Like
I guess
that
that's true.
stupid Crow movie.
That's ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. It is ridiculous that they just didn't fix it or just make it right. Like, whatever. All right. So anyway, now I'm moving on. Unless you got something else, I got a credit check.
Get back to my page. I don't know if I want to get to it or not. I think, okay, let me read you a note that I made.
Okay.
I'm watching it for the first time in maybe a year. I like this movie, so I revisit it often enough. And as I watch Mrs. Pickman in monster form asking her husband apart and Styles getting possessed by tentacles, I think, this movie is good as fuck. That was my note I wrote on the movie. And if you look at the movie poster at the end, when it's turned into a film, John Carpenter directed the movie version.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I noticed that.
Okay.
Now, I'm going to steal your bit.
What's that?
Well, do your credit check, Fee, because I want to take it, but I don't, because I don't want you to get mad at me.
No, it's yours. The interplanetary.
Yes.
Yep. Go for it.
The no animals were harmed. You got it.
Yep.
But then they follow that up with a note that is straight out of They Live to me. Human interaction was monitored by the Interplanetary Psychiatric Association. The body count was high. The casualties are heavy. I didn't know you were allowed to fuck around in credits like that.
It's fantastic. See, I'm glad that you are on board. You have become a fellow devotee of the credits.
That's one of the funniest ones I've ever seen.
Sometimes they sneak those things in. And the only other credit check, you've done such a good job this. Oh, I'm so proud, and I'm a proud papa right now, Brian.
It's weird that I caught it too, because I think I was just looking to see who was playing that villager so I could find out who he was.
And that was at the very end, though.
Yeah, I
you
know.
stayed for the whole thing because you knew. The only other thing I would add is there was a honey wagon driver. And I love when there's a honey wagon driver on set. And this time it was Truman Van Dusen driving that honey wagon.
He's got a cool name too.
Yeah, he does.
I love that movie.
It's good. There's something about it for me. Just I don't know. It
There
doesn't.
is something I can't put
I
my
don't know
finger
what it
on in all these years, over 30 years now. I've never been able to put my finger on what the thing is that's missing. There's something that's missing, and I can't put my finger on it.
From a John Carpenter movie, it's just sitting right there.
But I love it, and I think some of that imagery, the man on the bike as they're driving down the road, that's scary shit.
Well, that was the little kid.
It was,
yeah,
I know.
yeah.
And then it turns into the old man, and the face of the old man as they drive by. It's fucking terrifying.
The picture that keeps changing at the back of the hotel lobby. That it's not even like it's just odd. It unsettles you. It's not scary. It's unsettling.
It's
more
great.
than anything.
And Sam Neill again, tremendous.
Yep, that's it. That was two in relatively short order that were.
I know, and he didn't do that many horror movies. When you take his whole long career and from 75 till now, he hasn't done that many horror movies. So getting two almost back to back like that was a real peak Neill time.
Peak Neill.
So I'll give thanks to Sam Neill for his great performance.
Thank you, Sam Neill.
And then the ending is great because it has one of the best lines, I think, in a horror movie.
What was the end?
When, something about how, I don't read, and he's like, the movie's out this summer.
Oh,
and it's just going to infect everyone in the world. And it's just great. Then it ends with him in the theater, watching his own life play out, realizing he's a character and losing his fucking mind.
Yep, the world's gone insane. He can just walk out. Well, something goes through the asylum and murders everything, and he just walks away.
Yep. He gets out, and then he's sitting there eating his popcorn, watching the movie you just watched, and realizing that he's fictitious. And that's funny to him.
Mm-hmm. And the old ones win.
Yep. It's great. It's a great movie.
Although there was no the end.
No.
So I guess they're waiting for the sequel.
Was there a question mark?
No. So, that was it. Yep. Sam Neill, 2 solid bangers.
And then we have
the Nick Cage
1981's
update.
Oh, shit.
What do you think you're going to get away, Brian?
I was hoping.
I am flush with Nick Cage stuff. I don't even know what to do. Well, I got a whole new notebook. I've consolidated most of my Nick Cage stuff. Oh, wait. This isn't it.
Oh, every week.
Well, shit. Oh, good. Nope, just wrong page. All right, I got Nick News. What's up in the old Nick News? Ooh. You know what? This is a thankful day. And so I'm going to pick this one. This is Nick News from the Nick Cage News Network. All Nick, all Cage. You ready for this update? Because you've done so well on the credit checks.
Is there something about me that gives off the perception that I am interested in this?
Oh, yeah.
Because you're looking at me excitedly, and I'm just staring back at you blankly.
I know, that's your excited face.
I'm giving you my Angela from Sleepaway Camp.
I remember your excited face. Oh, yeah. That's your O face. All right, anyway, so here it is. Because you're such a Star Trek fan, Nick Cage is also a Star Trek fan, and he said that he would like to be in a role. And Will Wheaton, Star Trek alum and all-around nerd, he has said he would be great in whatever that new Star Trek is that you told me to watch.
Strange New World?
Yeah, he said a Nick Cage episode would be fun for that kind of show. So that is your reward, and we can all give thanks that Nick Cage also likes Star Trek.
We're not doing that. Thanks is reserved for one man this year, and it is Sam Neill.
And
Sam Neill
Nicolas
ever work
Cage.
with Nicolas Cage?
Oh my gosh! You know what that's going to turn into? That's going to turn into a Cage quiz hotshot.
Oh no!
Let me get my pen. Oh, I don't have my pen. All right. What was it again? Shit, I forgot already.
It's Sam Neill. Are we done with Nick Cage? All right.
Well, what was the question again? I got to remember this.
I don't think they did. Sam Neill and Nick Cage. I don't think they're ever in a movie together.
Well, help save it for the Cage quiz hotshot.
You can't make a quiz out of it if you don't know the question.
Well, it'll be later. I'll figure it out later.
Okay.
Don't cheat and look up the answer.
I'm not going to remember that I don't care about it when I asked it.
You act like you don't like this, but you love it. Every week you're like, what's Pete going to ask me about Nick Cage?
No, I'm not like that at all. I like our watch-alongs because you don't bring up Nick Cage.
Oh, man, that is tough. I miss him. All right, so I'm done with the Nick Cage update. That was it. I just, go Nick Cage.
Then we're going to 1981, Possession, a movie unlike any movie I've ever seen before.
I will agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was trying to think how I could explain this to my wife.
That's one of the best things about the movie is that it's a difficult movie to just
I don't even know what it's about.
It's about the dissolution of a marriage.
Yeah, I know that's what that it's not even. Geez, I don't know. I mean,
It's
is,
about
question
two of the
mark?
most interesting lead performances I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, and it's not I know words. There were not a lot of people in this movie.
No, it's everything about the movie from the first frame feels weird.
I think it has a lot to do with the setting because it's Berlin during the Cold War, so the wall is there.
Yep.
And it's just this weird backdrop of being, I don't know, just this oppressive, watched state.
Yeah, so he plays Mark, and he's a spy who returns home from whatever assignment he's been on, and he finds his wife wants a divorce. And the first half of the movie is focused on that and the difficulties they're going through, and she's found another man, and he's also giving a fucking weird performance. Everybody's giving a weird performance. One of the first things that drew me to this movie was the way in which these characters talk to each other, because I've never seen anything quite like it. And once you get onto the wavelength of being about two people who are no longer getting along, no longer want to be together, it makes a lot of sense. But they never look at each other. They're talking and they're basically answering each other's questions, but not always.
No,
it's so weird.
At one point,
but good weird.
Oh yeah. But it's because the movie is just so odd. I started to question the reality of things that were like, is one of them in a coma and they're talking because the conversations were so disjointed?
It's such an interesting way to show how far apart they've drifted because they can't get on the same conversation almost. They never, like, they're both looking past you.
Oh, that's what that was about?
And yeah, well
I never figured it out.
Go back to it being in Berlin, a city that was once one place, who in 1981 was now divided against itself.
Would you look at that?
And
I didn't catch that one either.
And when she moves into her own place, they can't shoot in East Berlin. They have to shoot in West Berlin. They just can't shoot there. But they move her literally so far as they can east, where you can see the wall. So they've made it as clear as possible what they're doing here, because this director is from Poland and grew up during World War II. So he has his own things to say about Europe in and post-war. And this movie turns into a World War III movie with doppelgangers and demons. You cannot see it coming. But all of those things, all the things we'll get to and how just the many directions it takes, there is nothing more interesting or creepier than the performances of the two leads.
Absolutely.
It's captivating. Isabella Adjani, who I've never seen in anything else, gives maybe the best performance I've ever seen a human being give in a movie. When he slaps her and then she finally smiles at him, it's the creepiest thing. And that scene in the tunnel, where she's just, it's having, I don't even know what to say about it.
Was she having a miscarriage? Was she going insane? Was she being impregnated?
There's no answer.
By a demon?
Well, that's the other thing. You get to see a demon just fucking her. It's fucking, the movie is completely bonkers. And I told you, we talked about the movie briefly before. There's this brilliant thing that the director, Andrew, I can't remember his name, Zulawski, I think. There's a brilliant thing he does where he shows Mark, her name's Anna, shows Mark watching Anna on a video at a ballet class. Okay. And it allows her to break the fourth wall and stare back at you in a way that is so unsettling. And it gets away with it. But what he does then is after the video ends, she does this 2 or 3 more times in the movie.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't pick that up.
It's so, every time she does it, it is the most haunting but sexy, because she's fucking sexy as fuck in this movie.
This is a weird movie.
It's so weird because it goes off in so many different directions you wouldn't expect. Now, the doppelganger thing, I think I do get.
All right, no, I'm confused. So, the doppelganger was her.
Well, there's 2 of them. They both have one. Because the teacher is her with blonde hair.
Back up. Right.
And then,
Jesus Christ.
I believe the baby demon grows up into being a new Mark.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the teacher of their child is a doppelganger for his wife.
Yes.
Or
she's the same actress, right. Anna, playing her just with a blonde wig. Same green eyes.
But she is suddenly like his new wife almost?
Well, she becomes the caretaker for the child because Anna's off fucking raising a demon.
And he had an investigator investigating her.
And she's got this other lover who is also
A weirdo.
And I kind of get him, though. Like, I kind of do get it. I like his character a lot because he knows how hard this is for Mark. And he tries to be somewhat sympathetic for it in the weird way that he is. But then when he loses Anna, too, he's just like, you must tell me where she is. I like that Anna has this power over these people. But that goes away for Mark a lot when he meets the teacher. Because she's the version of Anna that he wants. The nurturing, loyal woman. And what she doesn't like about Mark is what the new Mark becomes. He's much more confident, forthright. When he slaps her and she smiles, it's because that's what she wants out of him. But that's not who Mark really is. This new Mark walks in and can tell people, like, start shooting him and then just take control of the room. They both find the idealized version of what they're looking for. And then they both die together. And it leaves the world with the versions.
Yeah, the doppelganger Mark, though, I felt like he was sort of a, like that wasn't world, that was the end of the world, the apocalypse.
Yes.
Like he was a Antichrist or a Nyarlathotep type of like harbinger of.
Sure. But did you catch that? Because the kid drowns himself?
Yeah, well, he doesn't want.
Well, did you catch, though, the first time we meet him, he's in a bath. And he's making siren noises. And the last time we see him, he drowns himself in a bath while the sirens are going off and saying, don't open the door, don't let him in. It's fucking madness because the doppelganger is trying to get in where the teacher's taking care of the kid and she's about to let him in and the sirens are going off. It's fucking wild. This is a movie about a spy who finds out his wife is cheating on him.
Through the credits, there's gunfire and like I think that was the end of day. The doppelganger brought about the end of times.
Yes,
I didn't pick up any of the other stuff you just talked about. I was like, ooh, look,
it's such an interesting movie. Like every time you see it, you'll catch 10 more things because it's so interesting. How about the scene where because of the way they talk to each other, everything by the point this scene happens, you buy everything they're talking about, whether they understand each other or not. When he's in his rocking chair and just rocking back and forth in front of the camera, and she's behind him, and he's telling her like, "You must leave him. You want your son back. You have to come and be with him." And that scene, he's covered in sweat. Just how long has he been doing this? It's such a perfect moment of just like she's driven him mad. Yep, and he doesn't know what to do about it. And he thinks he wants her back, but then he meets the teacher, and he's like, "Oh, you know what? We could kind of let Anna go, I guess." And then the world ends. It's a fucking weird movie.
Yeah. So, and it's tough to figure out what's real and what's not. And the conversations don't help. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
I don't actually know the answer to that. The conversations help to set the tone that the movie has, like without question, because I've never seen anything like it, and it all plays into it. Now, I did see something recently where the first part of it felt like they were doing a bit of possession, the style. I can't remember what movie it is now because I just had to watch so many movies in a row.
Just they were oftentimes monologues at each other.
They are like, it's, you know what I feel like it's like? It's like they're in a play, but they're one line off from each other.
Oh, yeah. I can get that.
That's what, and it doesn't work like that. It holds up good, but the way they perform it, not in the words they say, but in the way they say them, it's never quite the right response audibly, not content wise. Content wise, they're answering the question, but the way that he answers her back, it's like he's answering a different question.
Right.
And it's such an interesting thing. And it's, if we're talking about giving thanks to Sam Neill is fucking incredible in this movie. I don't think he's ever been better in anything in this movie.
Dude, Jurassic Park.
I'm aware, but like, how much better would Jurassic Park be if him and Ellie Sadler?
Yeah.
If him and Ellie Sadler were having conversations about dinosaurs and he just answered them all like this.
He'd give Jeff Goldblum a run for his money.
This could have been a Goldblum.
Oh my! Imagine the Fly's Jeff Goldblum.
Yes, I'm imagining him as Isabella Johnny's character.
Ooh, I like this movie.
Yes,
I'm imagining Sam Neill as whatever the Gina Davis's character was in The Fly.
She's incredible in this movie, by the way, Isabella Johnny. Yep. I was, for having never seen her in anything before, I was blown away.
Well, it hint everything. The practical effects, everything. They were so fun.
That you don't know where it's heading Because
No.
even if you do think you know where it's heading, it's not going anywhere that makes any sense for what you've just seen. But when he walks in and sees that fucking monster on top of her, that's completely nuts.
Somehow it is unexpected, but of course it was all at the same time. And not just saying that, it's both things.
I like the way you describe that because I think that's a good way to describe possession. Everything that happens is unexpected and weird, and yet it somehow makes complete sense in the world of possession, which is not a movie about possession, which is what you would assume it's about.
I still can't figure out how to describe the movie, and I don't think anyone listening would understand a goddamn thing.
I've seen it a bunch of times, and I don't get any closer to understanding it or explaining it, but I love it more every time I see it.
I'm genuinely upset that I have not watched it a second time.
I wish I'd have seen it much younger in life because I would have been studying it for years.
The biggest flaw it has is its runtime.
Yeah, it is a little long, but now what I understand is that this is why I never saw it when I was younger.
Because 2 hours is too much.
It didn't exist in America. You could only get like a 91-minute cut that apparently is terrible. So the movie had a bad reputation. And then recently, Shudder put it out, and then it finally came out on digital on demand. So you can see the full version. You could always probably order a DVD of it somewhere. Now you can see the full version. I wouldn't even know where to begin making cuts in this movie. And from what I understand, the cuts they made were trying to make it a linear narrative. That sounds like a disaster to me.
Yeah, you can't.
You can't. This is its own thing. There's, how movies are art. Some are more artful than others. This is its own thing. It exists in its own little world. And when I reviewed it for the site, I gave it 5 stars, which I don't give a lot of things 5 stars. But I was like, I'm at the time 44 years old, 43 years old maybe. And I was like, I've never seen anything like this.
Oh, so you watched it for the first time recently?
Because you couldn't get it until recently. Shudder put it out last year.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't get it. You couldn't get the full version. I'm not going to watch the bastardized cut version that somebody else edited. That doesn't make any sense to me. I gave it 5 out of 5 because it's like I don't know how many more times in my life I'll ever be surprised by a movie. Not like by a twist, by like just what a movie is, by how a movie does it. And I don't know how many more ways there are to make movies than I've seen. This was one.
There's a lot fucking going on in that movie too.
And it doesn't all have to go together to make complete sense.
Because it's not going to make sense.
No.
Because it's not, but it does.
But it does. It does. And it starts with the simplest thing.
I'm starting to get annoyed by this movie, Brian. It's confusing me. I'm tired of it.
That's why I gave it 5 stars.
It's starting to fall. When we started this, I enjoyed this movie, and I'm like, holy shit, this movie makes you think. And now, actually sitting here talking about it with somebody, I'm starting to get annoyed. 2 hours long, 2 hours and 4 minutes, I might add. And none of it makes sense, but it does. And now I'm just confusing myself, trying to wrap my head around it. I don't like it.
No, I think those are positives. I think Kitty would like this movie.
She does like it when kids drown themselves in the bathtub.
Yes, she does.
That is what they do when I come home and press myself up against frosted glass like some freaky, weird shadow monster.
I got to tell you one thing about this movie. The last scene of the movie, a small child drowns himself in a bathtub, and it is not in the top 50 things that I think about when I think of this movie, which is, again, a movie for the first half that plays out fairly slowly and standardly. Despite the performances, the narrative is fairly standard for half the movie.
And it's a 2-hour movie.
So you get an hour of eclectic performances in a story that you can understand. And then it just becomes 10 different things at once. And I've never seen anything like it. And I think that's a massive positive.
You know what? I haven't ever seen anything like it, and I don't want to ever again.
You really didn't like it?
Not now. All this talk. I think I like, what was the first one we did? Event Horizon. Yeah, I think I'm falling back to that 90s loudness. I want that. That was simple. You know what? Damn it. No, that one didn't make sense either.
I'm going to tell you, I think Possession makes more sense than Event Horizon.
Fuck, you're right. Shit. God damn. You see, this movie's bringing other movies down. Oh, my God. This movie is broke. I'm the possessed one now.
Look at me. Look at me. I'm the possessed one now. I got to do that 2 weeks in a row. I'm very excited. That's a great reference from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. I don't even know.
Apparently, my doppelganger was once seen at a psychiatric hospital. But it wasn't me because I wasn't there.
Okay, Shaggy.
It wasn't me. I get it. I've been watching a lot of Scooby-Doo, as I've mentioned. So Shaggy was not the Shaggy who has a famous defense. It was the Shaggy who has a famous drug problem.
Does he?
He's got the munchies.
He told me it wasn't him.
God damn it. Shaggy had the best Shaggy defense, the original.
Yep. Possession is a movie that
That's true.
I recommend everyone in the world watch, but would never recommend for anyone to watch. Does that make sense? Like, I can say on this podcast, if you're listening to this and you've never seen Possession, you should go see Possession. Just go rent it. But if I saw a person in real life, I wouldn't be like, hey, you should check out this movie Possession, because they're going to watch it and think, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
I feel similar while you were saying that. I was thinking about more interesting things, but one of the things I was thinking, the Lighthouse.
Yeah.
That it's a similar feel to that movie.
They do have conversations that yes, like talking past each other.
Yeah. I didn't think about that before, but it has that same kind of feel. And
Yeah.
I was just thinking of how,
Which I love The Lighthouse.
yeah, how do you recommend it to somebody though? It's that same kind of issue. I'm like, it's a movie.
I think that for that one, it's easier to recommend it to people who enjoy very stylized movies.
Yeah. Black and white.
Black and white. It's a full screen
Period piece.
Period piece. Looks gorgeous. Great cinematography. All the shots are interesting composition. Like, this is more wild than that.
Very independent film feeling.
This sometimes feels like handheld when they're walking away from each other on the street, and it's so intense. Their performances.
I forgot everything that happened. The detective was there.
That's the thing. There's so many things that don't end up mattering. He has a whole conversation with the guy he's supposed to be spying on. And then the guy gets in a motorcycle accident. Like, why?
Shit, I forgot about that. Because we're left at the very end with the apocalypse occurring or breaking out.
Like a shootout in the stairwell happens. And it's like, how did we get here?
That's right. There was he was a spy.
Yes.
And they were trying to bring him back into the organization.
How did we get here?
Hey, what was the guy with the pink socks?
That was the guy that he was supposed to be spying on. Or is his informant?
Yeah, it was. Okay, there was a whole storyline I missed.
Because it's the least interesting part, and you don't expect that to come back because it takes place over one conversation in that room with the people that he reports to, and they talk about it, and then you don't see him for an hour and a half, and then suddenly the man Pink Socks is giving him relationship advice. It's fucking weird, and this is what I mean. And the shootout happens in the tall stairwell.
Yeah,
that's the moment every time where I think, how did we get here? Because it started with a guy who couldn't understand why his wife was being cold to him. And then there was two of each of them. And then she's fucking a demon.
Well, I think that's where I stopped. I didn't have to wonder how we got there. I'm like, well, she fucked a demon. All bets are off.
But there's no guns in this movie until there's a massive shootout at the end. It's the anti-Chekhov's gun.
It's the ramp up to the apocalypse, man. That's how it works.
It wasn't a ramp.
It's going to be ironic.
It just showed up. Oh, I hope that we get an ironic. I think I do well in an ironic apocalypse.
Yeah, I hope you like Alanis Morissette.
Well, most of that stuff's not ironic.
No, but that's what we're going to be hearing. That is going to be the soundtrack to the apocalypse.
At this point, I think it is ironic if you like Alanis Morissette.
Why?
You can only do it ironically. No, but she hasn't done anything in, 40 years?
I liked her first album.
Yeah, that's okay. That's all there is.
She never had another album?
I'm sure she did, but I can't tell you anything from it.
I heard somewhere recently that Dave Coulier was not Canadian.
What?
Yeah,
Lying
right.
Son of a bitch. I'm glad he has cancer.
He has cancer?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, he got that before I thought of him, so that's, I feel
no, he would have gotten it right around the time you thought of him because you just brought it up on the podcast.
Oh, God, I did think of it a while ago.
Like when we were in the 80s and apparently we killed the kid from Elf.
Oh, God, I forgot about that, too.
How could we know?
We've been on a good streak, too, where we haven't killed anybody in a while, and I was feeling nice about that. I thought about it. That's probably why this is all starting to ramp up again, just like this apocalypse didn't.
Well, I hope that Sam Neill's going to be okay after all this attention. He was born in 1947, and I think he's had cancer, too.
I don't know that I've been more frightened in my life for anybody.
I saw him in a movie recently.
Was it Thor 3?
That, too. But it was, he was a mob boss. He was really good in it.
I never saw that one.
I can't remember what it was called now, but it was really good. It had a nice, not twist, but it had an unexpected story beat in the middle. And it's pretty good. And you get to see him be a crime boss, and it was pretty cool.
Like the Penguin.
Yeah, he's exactly like the Penguin.
I haven't watched that.
But Burgess Meredith's Penguin, so it's kind of distracting.
Yeah. I would watch that. Imagine that.
And then he sat on his glasses and he couldn't read any of those books.
But if that was the version that HBO went with for their Penguin,
Oh my God. I haven't seen it. It's possible they did.
I haven't either. It doesn't seem like it, but the Robert Pattinson, the Batman, and that's your Penguin.
I wish someone had the balls to just do that. Like not the Penguin, you can't do that anymore. But they're doing it's funny because Nolan did the grounded ones.
Yeah.
So they're going to do the extra grounded ones now. That even more ground level, which is fine. It's Batman. But I hope the next one just pop in somebody doing like the Riddler from the 60s show. So he runs through the scenes just like...
In the gritty world is where I want it. Because otherwise you get Batman Forever.
Not a reimagination.
Yeah, right.
No.
Just the one.
I want that Riddler.
Yes.
I think that the one... Because there was two guys that played him in the original. John Astin played him like once.
I like John Astin.
But the other... I think John Astin's still alive. The other one... he probably can't be. But that guy... I'm thinking of that guy's performance is the one that played it most often. The skinnier one with the less hair. Well, I want that guy. I want that character. Just transport him from the 60s and throw him on the set and let him produce scenes together.
Yes, 100%. I like this idea, Brian. It's got legs.
He knows how to use them.
Sheer energy legs. But those really have disappeared since the 80s.
Yes. I think you bought them all.
I wonder what I did with them.
I've wondered that too.
You know what? They're really kind of comfy. When you put them on, it's weird up in the crotch area, but they're pretty silky and smooth. Feel nice. Keep you warm.
I can't prove what you did with them, but I can tell you that I had to call a plumber every day.
That was for an unrelated issue.
I didn't care what the issue was. I just kept calling the plumber.
There was nothing wrong half the time.
There's something wrong.
Are you sure the plumber wasn't your cocaine dealer?
What? He's going to plumb the holes.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so that was our Possession movies.
I love Possession.
Yeah, it was a good one.
From now on, when I say that The Exorcist is the only good Possession movie, I have to remember that there's an asterisk.
But it's not about possession.
It's not about possession. No, it's about possessing. Should it be called possessing?
Change the tense?
Mm-hmm. Why not? Nothing makes sense, but everything makes sense.
But does it make sense to change the tense?
But what if we could?
But what if we could remember the name of that movie?
The Core.
Oh, that's what it was.
I looked it up.
All right.
So I didn't really remember it. I'm remembering looking it up.
See, while I, once again, bow down to your mystery-solving abilities.
Another case solved by the case solver.
I also feel that that's cheating, looking it up. You can't do it that way.
I want to try to do something, but I don't want to do it with you. I was going to say...
Kitty tells me that all the time.
I want to try to have a brief conversation as like the characters have to try to explain what it's like. But you can say anything, and it's just about how you respond to it and the infliction you put on how you respond.
All right, wait. Talk me through it some more. I see why you don't want to do it with me.
Yes. Like, they have conversations that are just simple lines like, don't you love me anymore? It's not about that. It's not about that. And then he'll be like, fine, what am I supposed to do? And that's what they do. I want to see if it's possible to not recreate, but have a conversation in the style of what I think Possession is doing.
So they're responding
generally within the tense of what a response would be, but they never are responding with the tenor or inflection you'd expect it to come with.
All right. Do you want to start off? See if I...
No, I don't want to do it with you. I don't know why I got your cough.
It was all that fucking on the table we did earlier.
We did it in the episode. We're real quiet about it.
That's how I always am. I'm like a ninja.
By the way, this movie, great nudity.
Yeah, it was demon nudity.
Nudity report.
It was hot. That nudity. Ooh, I got a credit check. God damn it. You made me forget. Oh, you know why? Because once I gave my Nick Cage news, I threw away my notebook because I didn't think I needed it anymore.
Every time you do a Nick Cage update, you're like, my business is concluded.
Yeah, but I think, all right, now I got to figure it out. Ooh, these are Cage quizzes. I got to write down that other one. I don't have a pen.
You do have a pen. It's sitting right there.
All right, we're going to take a long pause while I write down. No, it's cheating, just like looking shit up.
You know who else has a long pause? Big Cat.
So, Bear walks into a diner, and the waiter comes out and says, well, can I get you anything to eat? And the bear says, I'd like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And the waiter's like, yep, sure, no problem. But I got to ask you, what's up with the big paws? And the bear says, I don't know. My dad had them, my mom had them, and I got them too.
I'm going to cut my joke and make you sound like a lunatic.
All right. Oh, this is Nick News. What am I looking for? The credit check. Oh, I got a lot of notes, Brian. A lot of notes. And you know what? I was wrong on all 3 pages. And there's only 2 pages of notes. Oh, there it is. Event Horizon. No. Oh. So, no best boy. No best boy in any of the Sam Neill movies. I guess because
He's the best boy.
that's why we give thanks.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dialogue coach,
Oh, I've got to talk to this man.
Ernestine Kahn. There was also a continuity. That's all it says. Continuity.
I have to talk to this man, too.
That's Christiane Helle, Helle. Hello.
I think those are the 2 most interesting people to interview in the world.
Dialogue and continuity. It has to be. That's why I read a note, because it's fascinating. They also, I don't know because I didn't go back and watch it, but there was near the very end, there was a logo with a bunch of other stuff. I don't know what they were doing, but the logo said Eclair Paris, and there was a lightning bolt through it. I don't know what that is. And it might not even said that because it happened so quick.
All right.
That's another mystery. There's a lot of mysteries and credits these days.
Got another case to solve.
Yep. But remember, you can't look it up online. That's cheating.
That's how most cases are solved.
Nope, that's cheating. You have to hope that you just find it out through random conversation with people.
Conversations like the ones had in possession. I want to go outside. That's why I don't want to do it with you. I want to go outside and just start reacting to people like Sam Neill in possession.
Holy shit. You're going to get locked up and you might meet my doppelganger.
Ooh. So you didn't like possession?
I'm not liking it for annoyance purposes.
Yeah, I don't care that it's
You know
2
what?
hours long. You can't cut a frame from this movie.
And I don't like that it confuses me so much. So I will give it 5 stars for just its
Originality.
It's
And performances.
Performances. Just the movie is great. The practical effects are great.
5 stars for the movie. 1 star for how it makes you feel about it.
Yeah, no, it's actually -3 stars for why it confuses me so much and its unreasonable runtime.
I don't think you could cut anything from the movie.
I don't think you could either, but you should. It's just like that whole goddamn movie. That's why it's -3 stars.
I wish they could add stuff in. If there's anything that was cut, I need to see this footage.
You know, it's -100 stars now. It's just gone up. Just you talking about it.
I'd love to see what they were like. No, that doesn't make sense.
No.
Get that out of here.
What a weird movie.
It's one of one. There's nothing else that it's its own genre of film.
True. I couldn't put it anywhere else. Your point about Lighthouse being accessible
Yeah.
to it is. It's way more accessible than Possession is. But oh man, it's a movie. I am glad you made me watch it.
It's one of the most interesting finds I've had in the last 20 years.
And I never heard anyone talk about it.
It wasn't easily accessible for us in America.
Well-
You couldn't watch this version.
It's a triple day of thanks.
Yes.
It's thanks for that movie coming out, thanks to Sam Neill, and thanks to Nicolas Cage. Well, for Nicolas Cage. It was for you to give thanks to that news. It was tailored specifically for you.
But before you started your 3 things, what were the 3 things again? Sam Neill, Nick Cage, and what was the other one?
I forgot.
Me
Clearly
too.
it wasn't important.
But before that, you gave me thanks for having you watch it, and then I was deleted from your 3 thanks.
Well, now you're back.
Like, thanks for Brian for making me watch it. And also, here's 3 things that aren't that. This is what we're counting.
Well, now you're back. See, you made the top 3 list. That's even better than the top 10 list.
I have not seen what else this filmmaker has made. I don't want to. I just don't have an interest in seeing him make something that isn't this. Does that make sense? Like, I want there to be in my mind an artist who made this one perfect thing.
Well, maybe he did. Did you ever look him up?
No. I'm
Okay.
afraid to. I just know where he comes from. I don't want to know that he made a movie that's just a movie. I want to believe that he descended, made this, and disappeared forever.
What if... So, all right, what if he made 2 movies? You don't have to watch it.
I don't want to know about it
Why don't you want to know about it? It's probably, you could just say, oh, that movie's great too.
because I assume it'll be letdowns.
No, you just say, that movie's great too. That one's solid.
He probably made... Well, do you remember when I talked about the film festival I went to here in Buffalo? And there was the director who's made many movies about the crimes of the church. because he was affected by them. In this latest one was like a wild revenge story that was all weird, and his other ones weren't like that. And I wonder if this was his war movie. I know that he got divorced, so that's part of the story. But I wonder if this was his take on World War II. That was like his final take on it. Like he's probably made a couple movies that were about times during war, and then he made this one, which is so bonkers bad shit because he's like, I'm looking past this thing now, and I found the strange or the funny, because this movie's not funny, but that church movie was funny. I found the take on this that is my definitive take on it, and I'm done with it. Like, this has been haunting me my whole life, and now I've made something that just people can look at and try to understand it. Because this movie's about a feeling, about his divorce and about growing up in the war. This movie's about that more than anything, because it feels like it.
That was me knocking in approval.
Well, it's gonna get cut, so you don't have to do that.
Hear, hear.
Oh, wow.
I agree. I agree, Your Honor. Dearly departed, we are gathered here today.
What? Why are you banging the gavel for... Wait, why are you gathering the dearly departed? Why are you speaking to the dead people?
It's animal court, and it's now in session.
What?
It is the ghosts of the roadkill against the people who killed them.
Are you the bailiff or are you the judge?
Hear ye, hear ye.
And you welcomed the dead people.
Hear ye, hear ye.
And now you're an old townsfolk. What do you think happens in a courtroom?
I was trying to play that game that you wanted to do with the possession people talking.
I've been playing it this entire podcast. Without knowing it, I've been playing it for 30 years.
I see. You know what? To be fair, I've been playing it too.
Yes.
For 30 years.
All right, we got to clean up this table, so we got to go. Thank you to Sam Neill.
Thank you, Sam Neill.
We'll see you next week for Pete's After Thanksgiving mashed potato mashup.
Mashed potatoes.
We're going to talk Beetlejuice.
Ooh. You know the kids have a lot to say about that one.
Well, they're not going to be here. We're going to talk...
Possession?
It's probably going to become a regular feature.
Ooh, I know. It was Quiet Place.
Place, day
numero uno, because I watched it in Spanish.
And we're going to talk... It'd be fine for most of it, to be honest with you, because most of it is silent. And we're going to talk about Long Legs, which we learned that Ken did not like at all.
And remember, everyone, I have long lungs.
That's
the
right.
doctor told me. So this movie is like strikes home for me.
So I believe going into next week, we got Beetlejuice, which I liked a lot more than I thought I would. Not saying it's great, just enjoyed it. And Ken, I felt the same way. And I feel like you're a little less up on it, but I think
we'll save it. We'll save it for the courtroom.
And then we have Long Legs, which I loved and Ken hated, and I feel like you're also in the middle of that one. And we have Quiet Place Day One, which Ken and I both liked, and I'm going to assume that you didn't, because that's who you are as a human being.
Did you talk to me about this? Are you reading my notes? Have you stolen my notebook?
Yes, I've been the one stealing your notebook.
Because you had that credit check down, man. You nailed it.
It's funny that I caught that one in the Mouth of Madness, because I never,
great. Yeah.
ever read the credits.
It's so fun every once in a while.
Yeah, good John Carpenter movie. Really, I got fucking great John Carpenter movie. Great Andrew Zalowski movie, if that's his name, and the usual rubbish from the Resident Evil guy, but I enjoyed it.
Yep, that's about right.
Yeah. All right, enjoy Thanksgiving tomorrow,
and remember to give thanks to Nicolas Cage.
And give thanks to Sam Neill, and then next week we'll see you for The Leftovers.
Not the HBO show, because I didn't watch that one.
Oh shit, I watched all 40 hours of
Well, I mean, it doesn't. It's about the same as all of our
Christopher
podcasts.
Eccleston, Liv Tyler. These are the things I know about The Leftovers. And also that it's time to hit the stop button. But first, which one's it going to be?
Round and round and round it goes.
You don't know what death is.